Hi guys, it's Crafty K-Bug, and today I'll be showing you how to make paracord bracelets. Yes, I've been putting off this tutorial forever, but these are paracord bracelets. You make them with paracord, obviously, and they are so cool. There's so many different stitches you can do as well. This is just the stitch I'll be showing you today, and these are so cool. Today I'll be showing you how to make a one color. I will probably make a tutorial in the future on a two color, but here's a one color. It's a one color paracord. Here, let me show you. In there. It's paracord. It's pink and blue. I know it kind of comes up red, but it's nice pink and blue. It's kind of like cotton candy colored. These are two colors, obviously. But I have a couple more one colors, but I didn't get those. But this is one. And this is what I'll be showing you how to make. I also have one more example right here. This one was made incorrectly on the ends, and I want to show you how to prevent this from happening. I'll show you what's wrong with it. This right here is the same end. This one's made correctly. This one's made incorrectly. Notice how it's kind of coming over. You don't want that. You want it under. So I'll be showing you how to make it look like this so it doesn't interrupt the circle pattern. So those supplies you'll be needing to make this are a buckle. I like to use, I think this is a 5/8 inch buckle. It may be 3/8. It's either 3 or 5/8. But it really doesn't matter. Some people prefer to use larger, but I prefer this size. And I prefer mine to be curved. So we'll be needing that. You will also be needing a pair of scissors. Make sure they are plenty sharp, because if they're not, then they're not going to be able to cut the paracord, because paracord's pretty tough. And then you'll also be needing a lighter. Kids, get your parents' permission. You may want your parents to do that. That's what I did when I started making these. I'd have my parents do the ends. But you will be needing a lighter. And kids, if you are going to use one, even if you're 13, 10, I mean that age range, try to get one that is a long one like this. That way it's a little bit safer, if you know what I'm saying. You'll also be needing paracord. So I'm using pink today. I will go into depth in the lengths here in just a second. The length of how long you want it. So that's what you'll be needing. That's all you'll be needing to make these bracelets. And so let's get started. Alright, so you can buy the paracord at Hobby Lobby. I like to buy mine from eBay. There's a certain eBay account that I like. It's called Outdoor Bunker, I think. And they sell paracord on auction for really cheap. And I prefer 7-strand. And as you can see, I've already fused these ends. So they're hard. So that's where I like to buy my paracord. Lengthwise, this is like the scientific way of saying it. For every inch of the bracelet, it takes a foot of paracord. So if you're going to want to make a 7-inch bracelet, then you're going to want to cut 7 feet, and then the length of your bracelet, 7 inches times 2, add that to that. So let's say we're making a 7-inch bracelet. I'm making a 7-inch bracelet, and so we need 7 feet of paracord, and then we get 7 inches plus another 7 inches. That's going to equal out to 12 inches. And so that's another foot. That's 8 feet. And then you're going to want to cut a little extra. So you're going to want to cut about 8.5 to 9 feet of paracord, if that makes sense. So I have found a way to do it on my body, holding out my arms and stuff to get my length. This one's probably not exact, but that's okay. Another supply that you can also use, there's a couple optional supplies as well. You can use a tape measure. This one has inches and centimeters if you use centimeters where you live. You can also use a paracord jig. I actually do have one, but I'm not going to for tutorial purposes because I know most of you probably do not have a jig. You can buy the jigs at Michael's. or you can make them. I actually made mine, where I helped make mine. My dad, probably you could say, made it. So yeah, let's get started making it. Begin by matching up the ends of the paracord and finding the loop in the middle. Grab the loop, get your buckle, and you're going to want to keep your buckle together and push it down through. So here's the curve, here's the top part, you're going to push it down. And this is another way. Sometimes people mess this up and it drives me crazy because I know what way it's supposed to be. Sometimes this can cause problems trying to push it through. It can be difficult. I've got a yarn needle over here. I'm going to try to use it to push it through if I have any trouble. But it looks like it's just about through, and I have a little bit of a fingernail on my thumb. Not too big of one though. There we go. Should do it. I don't have much of a fingernail though. So just try to get it through some way or another. It's kind of hard. Don't ever worry about, while making these bracelets, the paracord snapping. You're going to want to get the 550, which means it can withstand 550 pounds pressure or weight on it. So that's the kind you're going to get. And you're going to see this loop now. You're going to pull these strands through the loop. And notice that this little loop right here, this right here, is on the outside of your bracelet. And as you can see, that is, which is it? Is it not on here? Oh, this one's made a little bit differently. You can't see it on here. Right here. You can kind of see it right there. The other one's made differently because it's two colors. So now you're going to find one of the strands. You're going to pull it up, push it down through. So I know that this is this strand, and so I'm going to push it down through the buckle. Down through. See, this is what causes people to mess up and it not to maintain a circle shape, like I showed you earlier in that other one. Another thing you can do is take pliers and like squish it down if you need to, if it's not going through. There, but I got it through. Then you're going to take the other side strand and you're going to be doing the same thing. Just kind of smush it and push it in there. As you can see, I'm trying to get it in there. There we go. Try to get you guys a somewhat good view here, but it's kind of difficult. Just trying to get this through here. And, excuse me. And notice that I still have not changed my buckle, like I haven't undone it. It's still together. This is going to help you just so you don't get everything twisted up, which is always a good thing. So I'm going to get some pliers real quick and get this through there. Alright, so I just did that and now it's through completely. And notice that this is coming up underneath and we have a little loop here. This loop is actually going to be our bracelet. So you're going to tighten it down to about bracelet size for you. You can undo the buckle at this point and measure to see if it is the appropriate size. Or you can just fit it around your wrist. Make sure to give plenty of leeway if you do decide to do it that way, because it gets thicker. So I've got it just like this. And notice that my buckle is still straight. It's still going to come through and buckle up. It's not going to be messed up. There's a lot of things that can go wrong while making this. You just trust me on that. And make sure that you're not counting this piece, because this piece is actually going to be inside this piece when it's buckled. So you're going to measure from here, that piece right here, that piece above the strings, to the end of the other one, and see what that gets you. This is for me about 9 inches. I do not need a 9-inch bracelet, so I'm going to make mine about 7.5, 8 inches bigger. You just kind of have to play with it. You're going to have to give it a little extra too, because when you go to make your first stitch, sometimes it will shrink down. So what you're going to do is you're going to bring these around, and we're going to make the first stitch. So you're going to separate your strings. You've got one on this side, one on this side. This is where things get, I wouldn't say more difficult, just different. You're going to cross over like you're going to make a backward knot. You can choose any string. It doesn't matter which one you do first. And then you're going to go over this string with this one. So you crossed it over, you're going over, you're going to go back behind the bracelet and come out through. So see how it's coming behind and back out. And then you're going to fasten this down. Notice how I'm trying to keep the string from all getting crazy. And then you're going to push that up, and you made your first stitch. Now you're going to measure and see if it is still the right length. It is for me. Mine's about 8 inches. So now I'll be putting up my tape measure. And then we're going to continue stitching. This is where the jig comes in handy, because it actually holds your paracord into place. So now what you do every time, you see this little lump right in here? That's the side that you're going to cross over every time. So now we're going to cross over here, come underneath, and push it through. And then pull it tight. Okay, push it up, pull it tight. And as you can see, that kind of looks like one stitch, but it's actually 2 stitches. And now see, the lump has moved sides, so now it's over here. And you're changing sides every time. What's cool when you do 2 colors is you do the same color every time, because they switch sides. And you're just going to continue stitching. It's not too difficult. I'll show you a couple more times, and then I'll let you go, because you're just going all the way down the bracelet. So you're going to go over the 2 inner strands, and going over, and then this one's going to go over. It's going to go back behind your bracelet, and then through this loop right here. And then you just pull it up. Pull it tight. Make sure you pull it really tight, because the tighter your bracelet, the better the bracelet, because it's going to be nice and stiff. That's what you want. So I'm actually going to attach this to my jig and do the rest, but you're just going to keep doing that if you don't have a jig. It's fine. And you're going to go all the way to the very end here. And once you get down here, I'll show you what to do. So as you can see, I completed that, and you can see that I've made this little piece of bracelet, and you're going to push up the ends and make sure you can't get any more stitches in there. You probably will if you don't push them up as you go. You can push it up like this as you go. But I've already done that, and I got an extra stitch in there, so that's good. You're going to pull this really tight, and you're going to cut it short, about right here, and then fuse it onto these edges. Try to make it stuck to these edges, and that way it won't come undone. So I'm going to try to do this. I'm trying to be really careful, and so This is the part that you might want your parents to do because it can be dangerous for a kid to do. Okay. Take the lighter, get a little flame going, and just try not to catch it on fire. If you catch it on fire, blow it out. It's the main thing. And when you put the flame on there, notice how I'm putting it on the bracelet and on that end. And that way it gets completely fused on. So that looks pretty decent for me. And it's still hot. While it's still hot, I'm going to get my pliers. Where did they go? They're right here. And kind of mush it down to that other piece. Let me do that again. So I'm just going to heat it up, kind of get it melting pretty good on there. Melting. Okay, it's starting to melt. And then you just do that. Sorry about the noise that that's making. And you kind of push it on. Oh, sorry, that wasn't on camera. Wasn't in frame. So I just heated it up and then squished it down. You can use your finger if you want to. Just kind of remove it quickly so your nerves don't have time to react to the heat. And then cut that off and do the same thing. I'm going to stay on camera, but that was another thing before. I tried to film this when I was younger, and I was kind of scared and everything. I didn't want to film on camera and everything. I didn't have a camera. I was using my phone, and I didn't really like the editing part because I didn't have a really great editor. But now that I do, I could do that. But at the same time, I can now burn it really easily. So as you can see, I'm just trying to get it melting nicely. Okay, it's starting to melt really good, and then I'm pushing it in, kind of attaching it to the other side. You're going to want to work quick. I remember one time I cut them. I did not burn them because I can't remember if my parents weren't home yet or if I wanted my dad to do it, and he wasn't home, and I left it there. Okay, and I just put it up. I went back to it, and it had completely worked itself out, that last stitch, and I couldn't get it back. That was heartbreaking. So there we go. They're kind of flat and on there. And now you have a bracelet. You're going to want to wait a minute to wear it, until you wear it, because it's going to be warm still. But there you go. There's your bracelet. It looks really cool. And your friends, when you tell them that you make this, they will be so impressed because not everybody can do that. So, yeah. Thanks so much for watching, you guys, and I really hope that you liked this bracelet. Make sure you subscribe and follow me on Instagram. It's crafty_kbug. You can follow me there and subscribe right here on YouTube. So you can insert your name after Crafty. Thanks so much for watching, you guys, and on to the verse of the video.